Hi, I'm Tahric. Welcome. This is English. Let's begin. Today we're going over just some general tips on how to improve your English. So I've got a list. I'm going to give you 10 tips on ways to improve your English. First rule or first tip is to try to learn in full phrases. It's very easy or very normal to want to learn words. I want to learn what is the meaning of computer. I want to learn what is the meaning of apple or box. However, if you can try to group these words together, like I would like an apple, or do you have an apple, or this is a box. Not only does this make the language more natural, but it teaches you the grammar that you're going to come across. While learning vocabulary, try to put the vocabulary into phrases and sentences. That way you're grouping words that you remember together and the grammar can come a little bit more naturally. We're trying to avoid complicated grammar lessons. They're no fun. I teach English every day. Grammar is the least fun part for the teachers and students. More of the language will come naturally and more will be committed to memory if you are remembering phrases. The second tip is to watch TV shows or movies. It's more natural that you're going to be interested in what they have to say or how they say things. Pick a genre that you like. If you're into action movies, watch action, watch Tom Cruise, watch Mission Impossible, see the funny things that they say. Try to just pick up little things in the movie, repeat them if you can while you're watching the movie. Try to commit some of the movie to memory. Now, if you have a movie that you really like, it's even better. If you have a favorite movie, repeatedly watch this movie over and over again. Maybe your friends or your family will say, "Oh, you're watching this movie again?" "No, Mom, I'm studying." If watching the whole movie or watching the whole TV show is beyond your level and you have a hard time understanding the show, just watch a 5-minute segment of the movie. Is filled with lots of 5-minute segments of Friends where you can watch and say, "Oh, Joey said this funny thing," and you can repeat it over and over again. Try to memorize as much as you can, maybe even remember the whole 5-minute segment. If you're a little bit more advanced, you watch the whole movie and you can remember most of the movie, or you can anticipate what the actors are going to say because you've seen the movie so many times and those words become more and more familiar to you. If by chance you hear them outside, you will recognize, "Oh, I remember when Tom Cruise said that." You can also pick out words that are unfamiliar to you in the film or in the TV show and think, "What is that? Let me write that down. Let me look that up." Then the next time you watch it, you have one more word in your vocabulary, and you can continue this process until all or most of this show or this segment becomes familiar to you. The Matrix is a movie that I love and I could watch over and over again. As a kid, there were comedy movies that I watched. Back to the Beach, I watched this a bunch of times. The Karate Kid, me and my brother and sister, we watched this movie countless times over and over again to the point where we had the movie pretty much memorized. Or in learning Mandarin, one of the movies that I liked watching was called Shaolin Soccer. I'd seen it with English subtitles, I'd seen it with an English voiceover. Then later I switched to trying to watch it with just the Mandarin voiceover with the English subtitles, trying to familiarize myself with the language more and more. Number three is a 4-part tip. You want to listen to music. The reason why I like music is because music really sticks into our memory a lot. If you ever go to a kindergarten class, it's so filled with song and dance because when you have songs that go with a lesson, the lesson just sticks in your mind a little bit more. Maybe you like Justin Bieber. I'm not sure. Let me see who else. I don't know. You like Tyla. You like rappers, Wiz Khalifa, a lot of people that I've met that don't speak English very well, they may know songs almost word for word just from the love of the music. Makes it easier to remember what is being said in the song. I can still remember my grade 4 French class where I had a song that was just counting numbers from 1 to 7. And if I ever try to count numbers in French, this song comes into my head and it doesn't even make sense. It went something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bicyclette, bicyclette. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bicycle, bicycle. Doesn't make sense, but because it was in the form of a song, it's stuck into my mind.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, violette, violette. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, violette à bicyclette.
Song is very effective. If you have songs that you like, try to remember them. Karaoke is a good way. Another good thing about songs is that it's very simple to type in the name of the song into a search online, and you'll get the song lyrics where you can actually read everything that is said. Get the lyric sheet, and you can actually read what is being said in the song, commit it to memory, and boom, right there, that could give you, I don't know, easily in a song, you might get 100 new words from the song. 3B is listening to audiobooks. Audiobooks have a wide range of levels. They go from simple children's stories all the way to very advanced philosophy. Choose something that is close to your level. Let's say you're maybe an intermediate learner. You might want to try a young teenager's story about a coming of age, a growing up story. Or you could try a children's story, fairy tales, anything that you like. Stories are a great way to be entertained and pick up new words, pick up context of how these words are used. Maybe there are words in there that you already know, but you've never used them in this way. Podcasts are another form of media that are good. There's a whole plethora of podcasts out there talking about everything. You name your subject. Let's say for example, if you just like flowers, there are podcasts about gardening. If you like a certain movie, like you like Star Wars, there are podcasts that are dedicated to Star Wars, and there are podcasts that are dedicated strictly to learning English. There are many different platforms where you can find podcasts and explore around a little bit. Sometimes it takes a little while to find something you like. You can also ask a friend to suggest something that you might want to listen to. Podcasts are a great way to learn conversational English. Lastly, for number 3, there is the news. In many countries that I've been to, they show CNN on one of their channels. So if CNN is available in your country, watching the news is a great way to pick up some language, but this would be for more advanced learners. The speaking is a little bit faster and the terms and the language is a little bit more difficult or advanced. So if you are advanced and you are looking for something a little bit more challenging to watch, news is a great thing to watch. I tend to not watch a lot of news. I find it's just a little bit depressing. Tip number 4, it's important to repeat what you hear. Say it out loud. Sometimes you can hear a word, like let's say microphone. So I have this word microphone. It's in my mind, but it's different hearing it and speaking it out loud. When I say it out loud, it lets me know, okay, what is my tongue doing? Which way is my mouth moving? Am I saying the word properly? When I say the word, does it sound like when I heard the word? Your mouth and your throat need to practice making certain sounds, especially if these sounds don't exist in your own language. I found this when I was learning Mandarin, that there are many sounds that we don't make in English that I really had to practice speaking out loud and saying, oh, that doesn't sound right. Let me try that again. This is why I keep saying microphone, 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 microphone. I have a microphone. I am holding the microphone. I am using the microphone. I am talking into the microphone. Sounds crazy, sounds weird, but it's very helpful to learn these words that might be difficult for you to say. You have to actually say them. So number 5, it is a good idea to record yourself saying things. We imagine what we sound like saying something. I imagine myself sounding like some action hero saying something. I sound very heroic. It sounds very strong when I speak in my mind. But maybe when I speak out loud, I make mistakes. I might stumble, or I might not pronounce the word correctly. Recording yourself is a great way, a very fast way to find out exactly what you're doing that is correct and what is incorrect. Now, when you record yourself, it is very important that you listen to yourself. So you record yourself saying a sentence, or you record yourself reading something, and then later go back, listen to it, decide this could be better, this could be better, try it again, and then you could even listen to the 2 recordings and see where you've improved and see where maybe there's room for more improvement. Number 6, you just know that you have difficulty in saying certain words or making certain sounds. For example, a lot of my students have problems saying this the, 3, this th sound. Generally, I'm teaching native Mandarin speakers, and Mandarin doesn't have this th sound in it. It's difficult for people to make this sound. It's difficult for people to put their mouth into this position. They might say v or f, v. So really learning the position like with the th sound is that you're actually biting your tongue a little bit. Now you have this word and you've got to practice making this sound over and over again. So th, 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 3, Thanos, 1,000, with. It'll be very uncomfortable to make this sound in the beginning, but eventually this will come about. Number 7, we like to learn things that we like. We like what we like. As we are learning, maybe just learning a book that is just teaching English, like it's an English book and you're just learning English words and English terms, maybe that will be boring to you and maybe that will not be interesting. So what I recommend is, if it's possible, try to learn the language while you are studying something that you really like. For example, I like animals. I'm really into watching nature shows. I'm really into learning about animals and learning the names of different animals. While I was learning Mandarin, this was one area that was of great interest to me. So I would learn a lot of animal names in Mandarin. Remember, the important thing is that we are able to practice and enjoy practicing. If I'm just learning about animals, this will teach me about things like animal names, so the actual names of the animals. I might learn about their habitats, where they live. So maybe this will introduce me to things like water. It will introduce me to things like what they eat. For example, a gecko. A gecko is a lizard. So a gecko in Chinese is actually called bihu. So it is wall tiger. So I'm learning the word wall, I'm learning tiger. Maybe I learn what they eat. They eat insects. So there's more than just only conversational introduction, business, transactional language. Language is very broad, and if you could learn other areas of the language, it will slowly spread into the areas that you might find useful. Spend some time studying things that you like. This will help keep your interest. This will help make it less boring and make it less of a difficult task. It will still be difficult, but you will enjoy it because this is something that you just like. Another thing that you might like, or another thing that I notice that people tend to like, is slang. You learn a new language. It's very interesting to learn slang. This is 2024. There are words that you could look up, like fit. I like your fit. What is fit? It is my outfit, all the clothes that you're wearing. The ops. That guy's the op. That is my enemy. I don't like that person. Factory. Yes, sure, a factory is a place where things are made, but factory also means facts. True. Interesting, right? Bougie. That girl is very bougie. Bougie means that they are very uppity or too high class, or pretending to be too high class to do something. This is bougie. One thing that we are interested in, even though we pretend not to be, is swear words. One of the first things that people often learn in a new language is just the swear words, how to swear, how to say bad words. We learn these first because these are interesting. So this is just proof that if we can seek out or look for things that are interesting to us, the language will come more easily, more naturally, because we are very curious about these things, and studying will not be a task. Number 8, write it down. When I was learning Mandarin, I had a notebook. Now, I was going to a class, so the notebook was very useful, and I went through quite a few notebooks. It's very fast to be able to look to where the word is. So let's say I have a word like, how would I say worm? And I remember, I remember where it is in the book, and I could quickly turn to the page. Now, I don't carry my notebook around anymore since I'm not a student. I don't necessarily carry the books around anymore. You could have it in your phone if you use an app like Evernote. There are many apps, many note-taking apps. And what's good about these note-taking apps is that when you're looking for the meaning of the word, let's say you come across a word that you don't remember the meaning of, but you remember that you wrote it down in your phone. When you go to the app, let's say refrigerator, you could start writing the word. What is a refrigerator? R-E-F. And then the note-taking app will highlight this word or highlight the section in the notes that the word is in, so you could quickly find them on your phone. Keep notes, keep writing things down, have a list of new words. It's very, very useful. Number 9, on a weekly basis or on a fairly regular basis, you can just review this list of words that you have. Look through these words that you've written down and just refresh them in your mind. Think of ways that you could use them. Reviewing the words will help to commit those words to memory. It will take some time, but at some point you'll be able to use these words in conversation, and at the very least you'll be able to recognize these words when you hear them in conversation. Number 10 is to stay positive. In the beginning, it's just going to be words that don't really stick together. They don't really come together very well. It takes a while, 10 to 30 minutes every day of learning a little bit of the language. It will eventually come to you. It's not going to be an overnight, I'm fluent in this language. It's just going to come as little steps. You're going to start being able to make little small talk. How is the weather? This is my name. I come from here. And then slowly it will expand. The good thing about language is once you reach a certain point, once you can read, and once you have a very basic vocabulary, it's easier to add new words because I know another word that is like this, and because I know a word that is like this. So refrigerator, cool, freeze, ice. you can start to group words together. It makes your vocabulary a little bit more full. Be patient. Be positive. I'm Tahric Finn. Thank you for watching. I'll be back. I'll talk to you soon.